channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. So let's talk about babies. Children are adorable, babies especially. Oh, they're so cute. They smell like baby powder, the baby's breath when you pick them up and they do that baby curl, when they arch their back backwards and they're so cute and they're just a little bundle of joy and the little baby toes and the little hands smell so good. Those tiny fists, the dimpled knuckles and the chubby cheeks. Oh, what's there not to love? Guys, you have to understand that children are not going, babies are not going to stay as babies. They're going to grow up. They're going to get older. They need food, shelter, clothing, needs. And when they're young, they are very expensive. The average child care for a newborn can run you about $400 or $500 a week in a good daycare center. Okay. Now, when you're talking about the ones that are, I call them cut and corner daycare centers, you may be able to get one for a lot cheaper unless it's one of those places where it's actually quality daycare and affordable, and they're getting some sort of, you know, they have places like that where it's actually good and it's cheaper, but those are rare. When they're cheaper, it's for a reason. It's because a lot of times those people are not qualified and there'll be a lot of incident reports that are not reported. So, any hoots, when it comes to children, babies, they're expensive and then they become little toddlers and then they become children, and then once they go from being children, then they're going to be young adults and adolescents and young adults and all these things and all these different phases you will face with them, and you have to be prepared to adjust accordingly. On top of that, you need to consider who you're having a baby with. A lot of times people are not thinking about that. In the moment, in the heat of the moment, you may make a decision. You don't use protection. You don't abstain. You have a baby with someone. You may look at that guy and think, I want to have a baby for this guy. Or you're not thinking that. You're just thinking, I want to have a good time. You may look at a woman and say, ooh, I want her to have my baby. Or you're not even thinking about that. You're just having a good time. And then you have a child together. You have to understand that this is a lifetime connection that's going to go on for years and years to come. And depending on the type of man or woman that you had a child with is going to determine the peace of mind you will or will not have moving forward. And um, just what your life may look like. You may be raising that child by yourself or not. You may have someone who is conditional, meaning they're going to take care of their child, or they're going to do what they need to do, or they're going to allow you to see your child as long as. You also may run into someone or individual who will harm your child as a way to get back at you. These are risks. These are all the things that you have to take. You may also be with someone, you may feel like you're both in love with one another, but as you get older, especially when you are having a child when you're young, you're not realizing that where you are right now, you may feel like you love one another and you really care for each other and you genuinely feel that way. But when you are young, when you're in your teens, the human brain does not completely develop, and this is scientifically proven, until you are in your mid to latter part, but more so the mid part of your 20s. This includes the way you view the world, the way you see the world, the way you think, the way you perceive things. So the 19-year-old you may think a lot, or the 20-year-old you may be thinking so much about this relationship right now because that's where you are. That's the level of maturity you're at right now. But when you become 24, 25, your thinking may change. Your mind may change. And you find yourself now, you're stuck in a situation where you are a father, you're a mother, where you're both growing apart and trying to make something work, and then this is going to control this separation or being together but miserable can create an unstable environment for the child or a broken home, which results in mom and dad being separated, never married, whatever the case is. Dad remarries, mom remarries, there's another person, there's other children, and you see how this whole thing can begin to uh, it creates this domino effect, and ultimately everyone is affected. In the meantime, depending on who's feeling some kind of way, that man or woman could come around, could be upset with the new life, be upset with a new wife, be upset with a husband, be upset that you're successful, and use the children as a pawn to get what they want. At the same time, maybe none of those things are happening, but the child may feel conflicted going between two separate houses. Maybe in one home they're the full focus, and then in another home they're not. Maybe they feel out of place, and maybe they are trying to figure out how to be everything to both. So you have to think about those things. Having children is a lifetime commitment, and who you're having them with really, really matters. You can have it with someone who could ruin your entire life and your peace. If you messed around and you got what I'll say the hyena or giraffe pregnant, and when I say that, I mean someone who was wild, someone with no manners. I always make I always give this description of this someone you can't bring when you bring them around their family, you can just get embarrassed. This is someone, they're so wild, they'll act up, they'll just gallop across the table into the potato salad. Just that means they have no manners, no decorum, no respect for your family, no respect for society and people. Just ghetto. I remember watching Medea a long time ago, and I forgot which one it was, but and I don't know why I can't think of the name of this girl right now, but I can see her face. This black girl, she's very pretty, but she played Bow Wow's baby mother, and she'll come around with a baby, and she had a way that she'll call him. His name was Byron, but she'll call him Byron, Byron. I mean, she was just the ultimate nightmare of a baby mama. Woo! Ooh, it was funny. But in real life, that stuff is not funny. I'm telling you. And the same can be said. You never know what kind of man you're having a child with. A man who is himself a child and will be petty and vindictive and dangerous. It is not uncommon to hear about someone being taken out by the father of their children. It is not uncommon to hear of, murder, suicides. It is not uncommon to hear about these acts of violence that's happening, or women who get rid of and destroy their children because they want to get the man back, and because she has no control over him and she is angry, but she knows he loves his baby. She does something horrific to hurt him. You have to understand that there are people who don't mind prison. There are people who, to them, that is a hotel. That's an extended stay at a hotel for them. Because where they come from, they're used to that type of, they used to be in an environment where there's chaos. They've been to jail. They've been to prison. To them, it's easy, room and board, and they don't have to worry about anything. They're literally people who They may not necessarily want to go there, but they live at such a low level. Their thinking is so lowbrow. The way they perceive life is of such. It's like, it's like, how do I say? Just imagine if they were just a roach. A roach doesn't mind being in the crevices of things and going through the garbage and being displaced at times. It's going to crawl up a tree and get under some leaves and burrow under, and it's going to survive, and then it's going to resurface and multiply and scuttle through and skate across the countertop or steal a crumb here or there and hide in a crack somewhere. This is the mentality that some people have, that they don't mind losing everything, and going to prison means nothing to them. Because a lot of times they've known no better. They're among their brethren, they're very comfortable there. So if you ever looked and you see some people that they have committed these horrible crimes, but they just have the smirk in their picture, like, they don't care, because they're used to that chaos, and they're going to sleep soundly that night. And to us, being on the outside, we can't imagine that. We don't want to go to prison. We don't want to go to jail. And they don't want to. They'll prefer not to. But if they did, they're fine, because they can go in there. They're going to get their hair braided. They're going to be around other people. They already know how to work the commissary, the system. They know how to, they know the guards. They've been there before. So just imagine having a child with someone of this nature in a lifetime. Now, you may not meet a criminal, but you may meet someone who's just an antagonist, someone who knows how to manipulate, someone who knows, after you've raised your children, after you've done it all, they come along and they turn them against you. And amazingly, just depending, they're able to just come in and do that. And you find that you'll be on the outside looking in, because somewhere within your child, there's a longing always for that parent. There's either going to be resentment or there's going to be a longing. And depending on how much of a manipulator that parent is, they could come in, and instead of just saying, hey, I was absent, I was wrong, I want to try to make amends, they have to demonize you, and then they can turn the children against you. You also have to think that at some point with this person, they may still come up and share in the success of your children. And sometimes your child does not care. Maybe the daughter wants dad to walk her down the aisle. The son wants dad to be at the wedding, at the graduation, here or there, even if it's just for how it will look. They'll be there for the birth of the grandchildren. They'll be there for different things. They will be there as long as they live. And sometimes you have that individual that is just going to antagonize you. So you have to think, bringing us back to present day, protect your womb. Be very choosy in who you allow to plant a seed in you. Men, be very choosy, because you are the carriers of life before it is placed in a woman. It is true. Men, young men, once they reach their teen years, adolescence, teen, they begin to develop sperm. They have millions and millions and millions that's just being reproduced in their bodies constantly, all the time, all day, 24/7, constantly. And they are carrying the seed, they're carrying the future within them. And so you have to be careful who you place your seed within, what ground you put your seed in, who are you allowing to bring your child into the world, because that woman can also be a living nightmare in your life. So yes, children are cute. Yes, they are adorable. Yes, they're so delicious. They look so good. You want to hold them, but think carefully. Watch the character. Don't look at don't look at the booty. Don't look at how fine he is, how good he smells. But you want to watch their character. Their character is going to be how they treat others, what they do when they are upset, how they behave, how they treat the waiter, how they speak, how they react under stress, and what they are consistent in doing. That is going to tell you their character. And understand this, when you get a peek of that one thing that they do, understand that there's more to them than just that. That's just a little part of who they are. But what lies beneath can get very scary. So take your time. Because when you bring children into the world, you want to bring them into a stable environment. You want to bring them in a place where they can thrive and be happy and you can build. And there's no guarantee, even the most well-meaning individuals that can get together and things does not work out. And perhaps I'll do a video on that later on. But for now, just to end this video here, just choose wisely. And remember, babies cost. And even more so, who you have a baby with is going to make all the difference in the world. All right, guys, thank you for watching my channel. Don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe. Bye.